The latest 4th gen OLED displays are finally here, and to our surprise, they're not as expensive as everyone thought they would be. But before we get into that, let's kick it off with one of the most affordable QD OLED monitors right now, the AOC Q27GAZD. This is one of the biggest standouts at the moment. It's a QD OLED 1440p monitor with a 27-inch size, 240 Hz, and a super affordable price for what it delivers. The one thing that really makes this one stand out above the rest is the glossy panel. If it's this affordable, you'd usually assume it's going to be matte, but not this time. This is glossy. Of course, this monitor doesn't have the newest generations of QD OLED available, so it still gets a bit purplish under heavy artificial light conditions, but it isn't an issue in most cases. Naturally, for it to have this low price, there have to be some features that AOC decided to cut. First, it doesn't have a great finish. It's mostly plastic, and it feels cheap to the touch. Not that it really influences anything outside of looks, but still, it's something to consider. It doesn't have great brightness, which in turn makes it not perfect for HDR as well, so I'd avoid this one if you want to use it mostly in a bright room. In any case, it often goes on sale, so if you don't want to miss it, follow me on X since I'm posting daily monitor deals there. It's, at the time I'm writing this, the cheapest OLED monitor you can get, so that alone grants it a spot on this list for sure. Another budget OLED you've probably heard me talking about a lot around here is the AOC Agon Pro AG276QZD2. Even though it's about $50 to $60 more expensive than the previous one, I'd say it's definitely worth it. It's also a QD OLED glossy 27-inch monitor, but this time a much more premium one. It has a better brightness ratio, making it great for HDR. But because of its coating, I still wouldn't recommend using this monitor in a very bright room, since reflections and glossy don't match very well. You can tell it's more expensive than the last one simply by the gap in terms of materials. This one feels more high-end, or at least mid-tier, but still plastic nonetheless. Features-wise, it has two USB-A 3.2 ports and two 5-watt speakers, which is such an undervalued feature these days. You usually don't find this in budget gaming monitors, so props to AOC for including it in one of their budget OLEDs. It also has slightly better color accuracy out of the box, but since the difference is minimal, I wouldn't consider it a game changer. You can find this one for around $390 to $430. If it's above that, I wouldn't recommend it, since it gets too close to $500, where you can start getting the new 4th gen W OLEDs we'll get into in a bit. Before we move to the mid-end category, there's one more worth adding, the Dell S3225QC. While the AOC Q27GAZD is one of the most affordable OLED monitors right now, the Dell is easily one of the cheapest 4K OLED options you can get. Now, keep in mind, this is more of a professional-focused display, so don't expect many gaming features. It's a 32-inch 4K QD OLED with 120 Hz, which is still great for the price, but not ideal for heavy gaming. That said, since it's 4K, depending on what you play, you might not even go past 120 FPS anyway. So if you're more into story-heavy games, this actually makes a lot of sense. The colors are amazing out of the box, and don't really need calibration unless you're doing media work. One thing that might throw some people off is the matte panel instead of glossy, but that's subjective. An interesting detail here is the speakers. It has 5 5-watt speakers with surprisingly good quality. Honestly, probably the best I've heard in this price range by a good margin. So if that matters to you, this is a strong point. It also has a lot of stand adjustments, including height, tilt, swivel, and pivot, plus 2 USB-C ports and a pop-out USB-C module that delivers up to 15 watts of power. This is another one that often gets promo deals, so follow me on X if you don't want to miss those. The lowest I've seen it go is around $350, but even at $400, this is still a killer deal. Now, if instead of 32 inches you want to go even larger, let's quickly run through the best ultra-wide OLED monitors. When you mix OLED with ultra-wide, there's basically no budget territory here. Still, the best cost-benefit option right now is the Dell Alienware AW3423DWF. It's a very complete monitor, especially considering it's one of the cheapest OLED ultra-wides on the market. It's a 34-inch QD OLED with an 1800R curve and great color accuracy out of the box. It has HDMI 2.0 and two 7-watt speakers. It also runs at 165 Hz, But for about $50 more, you can get the Dell Alienware AW3425DW, which is the 240Hz version. Both are 1440p and have basically the same specs outside of the refresh rate. Personally, I'd go for the 165Hz version, mainly because it goes on sale more often for around $100 less, while the 240Hz one usually stays at the same price. Now, one of the biggest advancements in OLED recently has been the 4th generation of WOLEDs. I won't go too deep into it here since I'll make a full video on it after this one, so make sure to subscribe. Basically, 4th Gen WOLEDs improve luminance, which means better brightness overall. That helps with pretty much everything. HDR improves and colors look richer. Tandem WOLEDs also come with HDR True Black 500 certification, so you can't expect mediocre HDR performance from these displays. Because of that, 4th Gen Tandem OLEDs are widely considered better than QD OLED right now. So they're kind of a no-brainer, especially since some of them are even cheaper than older Gen QD OLEDs. The M027Q28G is the cheapest among the newer WOLEDs, and it's also one of the best cost-benefit OLEDs right now. It's a 280Hz WOLED with great brightness and super deep blacks. It's also matte, so reflections aren't as distracting under heavy lighting. I like to say this is the perfect OLED if you play during the day because of that brightness and matte combo. If you're like me and not a big fan of matte, you could go for its glossy version, the M027Q28GR, if you're willing to spend a bit more. Either way, you're making a great choice. There's also the Asus ROG Strix XG27A QWMG and the 27GX700A-B, which tend to be more expensive than the Gigabyte version and don't really offer anything groundbreaking. I'd stick with the Gigabyte one unless you find a great deal on the others, which I'll be posting on my X profile, so follow there if you don't want to miss it. And finally, if you don't really have a budget limit and just want the best OLED right now, go for the Asus ROG Swift PG27A QWP-W. It's a 1440p tandem WOLED with a dual mode, 540Hz at 1440p or 720Hz at 1080p, which is insane for an OLED. It's also glossy, so it feels more immersive overall. On top of that, it has features like Neo Proximity Sensor, DisplayPort 2.1, aspect control, and HDR True Black 500. It's almost flawless, but yeah, the price is definitely salty. Still, if that's your ceiling, just grab it. You won't regret it. Now, if you want to check out the best monitors of 2026, click here. And here if you want to make your monitor look better. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.